Hello students, in this lecture we will revise chapter number 2, which is Gauss theorem and its applications. It is a part 2 in chapter number 1 of CBSE. In NCERT, the chapter number 1 is electric charges and fields, and the first part covers the topic till electric dipole, and in the second part we study Gauss law and its application. But in RBSE it is chapter number 2. The chapter number 2 is Gauss theorem and its application. So in this lecture we have a quick revision of this chapter, the basic concept. We will revise all the basic concepts of this chapter one by one. Okay, so open your notebook and just start writing. First point, first of all, heading Gauss law and its applications. Gauss law and its applications. So before discussing this topic, Gauss law and its application, you must know about 2 or 3 main topics. You must know about 2 or 3 main topics, which are: first, electric flux. The first one is why we use, or first of all we discuss why we use Gauss law instead of Coulomb's law instead of Coulomb's law to find electric field. So the first question that comes in my mind, or the question which comes in my mind first of all, that why we use Gauss law instead of Coulomb's law for finding electric field. So we already know that in chapter 1 we have already discussed that Coulomb's law can be used to find electric field. So in science we know that the discoveries and new inventions are just because of their requirement. It is not like that we have invented something already and now we are again making a formula of that thing, but we already have Coulomb's law to find electric field. Then the Gauss gave his law. Why? The main reason behind this, that Coulomb's law was impractical when dealing with millions or billions of charges. Okay, it means that when there are small number of charges, or a few charges, like we can say there are 10 or 20 charges, then at microscopic level we can apply Coulomb's law. It is practical. But we know that force is a vector quantity, and to apply the Coulomb's law, if there are thousands or hundreds of charges, then the vector diagram will be very complex that we cannot solve that. Okay, so at microscopic level, when there are 2 or 4 or 6 charges, 10 charges, we can calculate the resultant electric field or resultant force by using Coulomb's law. But at macroscopic level, where thousands of charges are there, millions and billions of charges are there, then we cannot apply Coulomb's law, because to find the resultant will be a very complex procedure, because electric field also a vector quantity. So Coulomb's law will be impractical. Suppose we have a metal sheet of size of this board. It is a conductor. So this size contains lakhs and crores of free electrons, millions of free electrons, this much surface. So if I want to find a resultant at this point due to this conductor at point P, if I want to calculate electric field, then due to all charges I will make a resultant diagram of electric field, and which is, you can think that, impossible or impractical to solve. So we use Gauss law. In Gauss law, what we will do, that we will take sum of all the charges. In Gauss law, we will take sum of all the charges. It means that at a macroscopic level, charge is a continuous quantity. Charge is a continuous quantity, while at microscopic level we are taking 2 or 3 or unit charges, but at macroscopic level there are thousands of millions or charges, and we take sum of those all charges and take it a one quantity, sigma q. In Gauss law we will use the term sigma q. Sigma q means sum of all the charges. We will take sigma q, it means sum of all the charges, and we will consider it as a continuous quantity or a single quantity. We will not discuss that it is a microscopic level. So this is the basic need of Gauss law at the place of Coulomb's law. So I think that the first question is clear to you. Again I repeat for you that in Coulomb's law it is applicable only at microscopic level when there are only a few charges, but if at the macroscopic level billions of millions of charges are there, then the resultant electric field due to all those charges cannot be found out using Coulomb's law, because the Coulomb's law will prove impractical in those conditions, and due to this we use Gauss law. So first point is clear. Then the second point comes electric flux. Electric flux. What is electric flux? So electric flux, so electric field lines passing through a particular surface called electric flux. So total number of electric field lines passing normally through a surface known as electric flux. Passing, and you can write here, passing perpendicular to a particular surface, are called electric flux. So it is denoted by the symbol phi, or first of all I will explain that these all are electric field lines. These all are electric field lines. But these all lines are not electric flux. The flux is only those lines passing perpendicular to a surface. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 lines comes under electric flux. These 4 lines comes under electric flux, while these rest of the lines are only electric field lines. We cannot say that this is flux. So note down this example. It will help you to understand the topic. So if the surface is making an angle theta, if the surface is making an angle theta with electric field lines, then what we will do? So before knowing this, we have to know one term, area vector. So write down the second important term, which is area vector. So write area vector. Area vector. What is area vector? Area vector is always perpendicular to the area. Area, we know that is a scalar quantity, but in some conditions the direction of area will decide that how much flux will pass through it, so that in those conditions only area is considered as a vector quantity. So first of all, write down the area vector. Area vector. So you can write the vector perpendicular to area. Vector perpendicular to the area is called area vector, denoted by surface area or area vector, S vector or A vector. It is always perpendicular to the area. So if area is like this, then area vector is perpendicular in this direction. Okay, so if this is the area, then it will be the area vector perpendicular to the area. So you will be wondered that how area is taken as vector quantity. So suppose that I have this surface, okay. Now electric field lines are passing through this surface. In this condition, all the electric field lines will pass through this surface. This surface is normal or perpendicular to electric field lines. Now the direction of area, how much or how many electric field lines are passing through this area, will depend on the inclination of this area with respect to electric field. So if area is like this, then all electric field lines will pass through it. Now I take the area like this. In this way, the electric field lines doesn't passing through or doesn't cross or doesn't link to the surface. Most of the lines will pass through the upper surface, rest of the lines will pass through the lower surface. Only a few lines will interact with this surface. So the direction, suppose in that case 10 lines are linked to the surface, and in this case only 8 lines linked to the surface. So the inclination of area will decide that how much electric flux will passing through the surface. So in this case the area behaves like a vector quantity, because the area will decide, the direction of area will decide that how much electric field lines, how many electric lines will pass through it. So in those cases it is considered as a vector quantity. Suppose the surface is like this in horizontal way, then the area vector is like this, perpendicular, always perpendicular to the area. Okay, so if look at this example, if surface is this, then area vector is perpendicular to the surface. If area is this, then area vector, look at this, area vector is perpendicular to the surface. If surface is this, then area vector is perpendicular to the surface. if surface it is this side, then area vector is perpendicular to the surface. If surface is this side, then area vector is perpendicular to the surface. In all the cases, area vector will be perpendicular to the surface. So you must know this. You can write this area vector, or you can make these examples also. Very helpful to remember the concept. Now we were discussing electric flux. So complete it. Okay guys, so I will erase it and explain you the electric flux. So now we are discussing electric flux. So consider a surface like this. Surface. Okay, make this diagram, and it is the direction of area vector. This is area, so this is area vector. For a small surface we are representing ds. It is the direction of electric field lines passing through the surface, and the angle is theta between them. So we know that the arm associated with the angle theta is always the component of base, which is cos theta. So you can write here s cos theta. So now we can make formula. Is component ds. So this is ds cos theta. So the formula of flux will be phi is equal to E dot ds. We can solve it. Phi is equal to E ds cos theta. Okay. It is scalar quantity. Its unit can be calculated. It is a scalar quantity, and you can calculate its unit. What will be the unit of flux? So here note that E Newton per coulomb. In last chapter we have already discussed Newton per coulomb, and ds is the area called meter square. Another unit, electric field. So in chapter number 3 you have already studied, because this chapter is we are revising the concept. So you already know that in chapter 3 electric potential. In that chapter you know that electric potential E, the dimension of E or the unit of E is volt per meter. Okay, so according to that formula, volt per meter the unit of electric field, and ds is area, then meter square. So another unit is volt into meter. So these are the two units, Newton meter square per coulomb and volt into meter are the units of electric flux. Okay, units of electric flux. Dimension, can we calculate the dimension? Yes, sure, why not? What is the dimension? Dimension can be calculated as according to the formula. So the dimension of electric field will be, देखिए, look here, E is equal to F upon Q. In last chapter, Coulomb's law, we have F is equal to QE, that formula. So M1 L1 T minus 2 is the dimension of force, the charge A1 T1. So we can solve it, M1 L1 T minus 3 A minus 1. A minus 1 and A minus 1 and we will put the value of E in this formula, and ds is meter square because it is area. So we can write M1 L1 T minus 3 A minus 1 into L square. So the dimension will be M1 L3 T minus 3 A minus 1. So these are the unit and dimensions of electric flux. So now you can see in the example and the formula that electric flux depends on which factors? Electric flux depends on which factors? Can you tell me? According to the formula, electric flux depends on first electric field, second area vector, not area vector, and the third one is angle between them, angle between E and S, area and S area, E electric field. Note down, all the points are very important according to your revision. Okay, so the next thing is, after that we have some examples. Okay, can I erase this? Okay. So Gauss law and applications. So the question number 1 is area vector is given and electric field is also given. Then in the question, what is asking? To calculate flux. So S is 5 into 10 raised to power minus 3. Question number 1. S is given 5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 J meter square. E is given, which is 200 I 300 J volt per meter. 200 I 300 J volt per meter. Find the flux. We have to calculate electric flux. So we can simply multiply these values and we'll get our answer. So it is not a difficult one. We know that formula is E dot S. Dot product, we can always multiply the same things in dot product. So I, here we can see J, so J can only be multiplied with the quantity of J. So we can write here 5, so this will be 15 into 10 raised to power 2 and here 10 raised to power 3 minus, so we can write here 1.5 voltmeter, volt into meter is the answer. Write down, very easy numerical. Okay, then we will discuss question number 2. Question number 2. A cylinder is placed like this. Cylinder, conductor cylinder, and a uniform electric field is passing through it in this direction. Uniform electric field, it means it will be equidistant. Electric field is passing through this in this way. So we'll have to find out that the total flux linked with the cylinder is 0. Find out, prove that total flux linked with cylinder is 0. Cylinder is 0. So we have to prove that the total flux linked with the cylinder is 0. So very easy to prove. Can you prove it? Can you prove it, guys? Simply, okay, look at the board. We have 3 surfaces here. One surface is this. Okay, so take this surface, take the surface S1. Take this surface S1, then area vector will be perpendicular like this. Area vector is perpendicular to the surface. Take this surface S2 and the area vector will be perpendicular to the surface S2. Area vector is perpendicular to the surface, and one surface is this. You can take one surface here and area vector is perpendicular to the surface. This surface is taken as S3. So consider 3 surface, because in cylinder we can assume that the 2 lids cover the cylinder and the third one is curved surface. So these are the 2 surface and one the complete curved surface. ठीक है, curved surface. So there are basically, okay, if you take this S3 here, then area electric field will also be perpendicular to the area. So you can take the surface here, then also perpendicular here. So doesn't matter. So 2 surface plus 1 curved surface. In this way, ds is always perpendicular. Area vector is always perpendicular to the area perpendicular to the area. So we can calculate EDS for S1, EDS plus S2, EDS, and for S3 the total flux we are going to find out the total flux linked with the surface. So write 3 times here, and this value will be equal to, we have to calculate equal to 5. So here we can find EDS dot, if we solve the dot product then it will come the cos theta. So it will be like EDS cos. Now the surface S1. So electric field is in this direction, area vector is also this direction, then theta will be 0. Because in the parallel lines the theta is 0 degree, plus S2 EDS for S2 cos theta. So electric field is going in this direction, but the area vector is opposite, then the angle between two opposite lines is 180 degree. And the third one is S3 EDS. Now the electric field is going in this way and area vector is perpendicular to this, so theta will be 90 degree. So cos 90 degree is equal to 5. So E is constant term because the electric field is uniform. So if electric field is uniform, then and the integration of S is ds, the integration of ds, suppose it is capital S, then what will happen? ES plus, because cos 0 is 1, plus ES cos 180 degree. Here we can write cos 180 degree. Cos 180 degree is minus 1 and cos 90 is 0 multiplied by any quantity. If 0 is multiplied with any quantity, it will be 0, is equal to 5. ES minus plus minus minus ES cut it down, then 5 will be 0. The same thing which we have to prove, that the total flux linked with the surface is 0. So in this direction theta is 0 because electric field and area vector in same direction. In this direction area vector is this and electric lines are going in this way 180 degree and there is 90 degree. So the flux related to this 0. Now what is this integration type? The closed integration. You have seen that I have marked close loop on integration. It is called closed integration. The closed integration of any surface. What does it means? I will explain you in Gauss law. So first of all write down here. So we have to prove that the total flux linked with it is 0 and we have successfully proved it. Okay. So the next question is a square frame question number 3. Next question is a square frame with arm 10 centimeter. Square frame with arm 10 centimeter with arm 10 centimeter placed in electric field 20 Newton per Coulomb, placed in electric field 20 Newton per Coulomb, 20 Newton per Coulomb, such that normal to the frame makes an angle 60 degree with electric field, such that normal to the plane makes an angle 60 degree with electric field. Find electric flux. So the formula is theta. Put the values E 20 Newton per Coulomb into area. If one arm is 10 centimeter, then the area of square will be 0.1 into 0.1 into 0.1 meter square. So 10 centimeter means 0.1 meter. So 0.1 square area. Then cos theta is 60 degree. Cos 60 is 1/2. So solve this value here. Phi is equal to 20 into 0.01 is 1/2 to 10 multiplied by this 0.1 volt into meter. Answer. So very simple numerical that we have calculated. So till now we have discussed only these three formulas. In our theory, and I have shown you example on each of the formula. So in this lecture we have discussed area vector, electric flux, their formulas, and example based on these formulas. I think it is enough for this lecture. In next lecture we will discuss some important points about Gauss theorem. That's it for now. Thank you very much.